Welcome to the Chatting with Champions podcast, the go-to podcast for achievers and entrepreneurs. Every episode features an in-depth interview with a sought-after expert, revealing the principles and strategies that have made them successful, giving you the information you need to become a champion. And now, your host, Tyler Basu.
Hey, this is Tyler Basu, and welcome to interview number 87 of the Chatting with Champions podcast, and thank you so much for taking the time to join me as I reach out to achievers and successful entrepreneurs. My guest on the show today is a very inspiring woman, an international speaker, holistic trainer, and intuitive coach who specializes in health and nutrition. So we're going to be talking about some of the ways that you can take care of your health, take care of your body, avoid burning out as an entrepreneur, as a professional in the workplace, and also some of the ways that you can unlearn any bad habits or replace some limiting beliefs that you might have picked up from earlier years in your life. So it's a very interesting interview, a lot of great advice that is applicable to anyone who has a habit of working hard at the expense of their health from time to time. I think you're going to get a lot of value out of this. Before we jump into the interview, I just want to mention that today's episode is brought to you by Audible.com, and you can get a free audiobook download along with a 30-day free trial by going to chattingwithchampions.com/audio. That's short for audiobook, and there are over 150,000 book titles to choose from that you can listen to from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. So if you like books, but you don't always have the time to read them, I encourage you to head over to Audible and get an audiobook that you can listen to while you're at the gym or while you're driving in the car and so on. So on that note, we are going to jump into today's interview. I hope it is helpful, and I will see you at the top. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Anna Bruckner. Over the last 25 years, Anna has worked in many areas of business, including corporate communications, marketing, and human resources in Austria and abroad. She holds a master's degree in health management and is in the process of completing her PhD, which includes research on a variety of fields, including communication science, linguistics, sociology, neurobiology, energetic, and spiritual medicine. Anna is an international speaker, holistic trainer, and intuitive coach specializing in health and nutrition, and she's the CEO and founder of ORINITION, an organization committed to helping others reach their maximum potential and live happy, healthy, and energetic lives. Well, Anna, it is a pleasure to be speaking with you today. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast.
It's my deepest pleasure to be on your podcast. I love what you're doing.
So Anna, if you could take a few minutes to tell the listeners a bit about your background. I mean, how did you get started in this field, and why did you want to get into this field that you're in today?
Well, I'm coming from a bakery, a very small one, and I just grew up with nutrition, to work in the bakery and everything else. And since then, I always was very interested in nutrition and health and everything else. And also in business, how can we improve business? And every time when my mom or my dad need something, I was like, okay, I will learn it and we will find solution and everything else. And I was very into learning. That's why I have such amount of different knowledge. And I found more and more my way. And I have 3 burnouts behind me. I was highly suicide. I worked way too much because I loved what I do. I did, the last 18 years when I came out from school, I worked and it was so much fun, and I went abroad, I went traveling and everything else, and it was way too much. I definitely have to find another style of living for myself, otherwise it would kill me, because I was three times very, very close that I die because of bad kidneys and colon. And I thought to myself, so it's now time to find another solution, because I still love what I do. I love learning. I love getting knowledge and just share it with other people. And I found myself through different educations. I did tons of NLP and other workshops worldwide from top experts. And I found myself my way of living. I created a new nutrition form way beyond of the diets, what you have at the moment, but listen more and more to myself, to my body, what it needs, and what it feels right for me. I'm very intuitive. I'm high sensitive. I think it's called, and I have a slightly Asperger and all the things, what is so common nowadays. And for me, it's like finding myself more and more out in this world and do my stuff the way I love to do. That was actually the main reason why I said myself, so now I have to stop. I have to find solutions for myself, because everything what's out there, it's definitely not mine. So that's what I teach or coach other people, to listen to themselves again and not to all the recommendations what's out there. It's good stuff out of every discussion, but it's not always suitable for everyone. It's the same with the nutrition. I tried every single nutrition form what's out there, because I wanted to know, to learn how I can stay healthy and do all my stuff what I love to do. And I found myself, okay, I tried this and this and this, but it's not mine. So I began more and more to listen to myself, and that's what in my opinion, that's why I'm still alive.
So you've been, I mean, from a very young age, you've been working very hard,
Yes.
both in school and in academic environments, and also in the workplace. And you said that you've faced burnout 3 times, right?
Yes.
Your health has suffered at many points in your life as a result of working so much. And I think that a lot of people go through that, right? We all work at the expense of our health sometimes, and so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on the show, because I know you have a lot of great insights that you've learned from your journey, having gone through this and having learned how to turn your life around, how to maintain that healthy lifestyle. But before we get into that, could you just share a little bit about what you're doing today, and tell us about your business as well, ORINITION. I mean, how did that start? And tell us about what you're doing for others through that organization today.
The interesting part is I do different things, but the basic is all the same. I show other people how they can listen again to their body intelligence and their intuition, because most of the people lost their or forgot their own intuition, to listen to your body and to your, I don't know how you say it, to your guts, your feelings that you know now. Yes. And especially in business, what I saw with the companies I worked in, I have more than 10 companies where I worked, and I found the most that nowadays the competition is so high and so stressful that it's not good for the health, and they forgot actually the most important part, that's the human itself. And when I worked with all the things, and we did a lot of work, we did exciting stuff and everything, and I'm very grateful for every single company I was, but I forgot myself and the health of it. And especially with entrepreneurs or people who begin now, young entrepreneurs, they have multiple stuff to do. They have to think about this, and this. So most of the time they forget themselves. And what I learned, because I worked in the companies, then when my mom or my brother called me, I went home, I worked at home and did my social projects and all the things. And I had a really I think that's the word, time management. And now I find it was like military, very straight. I really had to do all these things, otherwise I couldn't do all the tasks what I wanted to do. And I see now that I can support other people. How can they manage their time? How can they bring the projects together in this and this way and still stay healthy? And I give them nutrition tips. I give them tips to find. I'm building up at the moment with a friend of mine an online tool where you get in 33 days from vision to action, and with really simple tools. With most of the time it's free tools and everything, and bring it on. But it doesn't matter what is all about business. First, the human being is the most important. And when I work with business coaches, they're long time in their business already, and they still get stuff from me because I show them how to listen to their intuition again. I have coaching under 1 minute. I know it sounds a little bit weird to all the coaches out there, but it's possible. Because what I do is give away all the limitations, what we learned from your parents, from the society, from everything else, which are not suitable for us anymore. They limit us. And I truly believe, and I don't know if you saw on my LinkedIn profile, I created something I call it 24 hours 7 healing. Is it possible that we constantly stay in the healing process and heal all the things what it is in our head? Yes. I do it with communication. I now can give the science to it. And I find the most part when I show people how they talk with themselves, that they begin to listen again to themselves and their body intelligence and everything else, their language and their communication change, and also their life is changing.
So would you say that our body gives us signals, right? If we're pushing it to its limit or we're neglecting it in a certain way, we're going to get those signals. And so you help people to pick up on those signals and make sure that they're doing the right things so that those things don't happen again or keep reoccurring or get worse. What would you say is one of the biggest challenges if somebody's consumed by their work or by their business and they have a really hard time finding the time to take care of their body in that way? What worked for you? I mean, because you've gone from now learning how to take care of your body and how to maintain a more balanced lifestyle. So what was the biggest challenge of making that happen?
That I really listened to myself. Because most of the time we have tons of limiting beliefs in our head, what we got since childhood, and get rid of all the limitations and still stay on it. That was actually the biggest challenge. Is I don't call it discipline anymore. I call it persistence, and to love myself. And really stay on it and see, okay, there is still a limitation. What do I need that I get rid of it? And I found now 4 questions for it. I call it, I do tons of inner child healing with the people, because for me it's one of the basics. And that means asking one question the most. What is my learning lesson for this challenge what I have now? And when I find out the learning lessons, because my deepest belief is we are here on earth to learn, to have more fun, and really do what we love to do. And when I find myself thinking again, I have cravings, for example, for chocolate, because a lot of women have cravings for chocolate, I ask myself, why do I love this chocolate so much? Do I connect it with any person with a good situation or a good feeling? And most of the things what we have in our head or memories are always connected with emotions. When we disconnect those emotions with the memory and look actually what is behind it, I always look behind the message, behind a person, behind all the situations or challenges we have, and really find the learning lesson. And then I ask the people, what's your learning lesson for it? And then I ask, is it yours? Did you overtake it? Because we really learned or overtook a lot of limitations from our parents and from society and from media a lot, especially with women, how we should look like and everything. And then I ask, does it still, make you happy? If not, why you still have it? And then I ask another question. What would be better for you at this moment? And that's how I train people, that they begin more and more, that they don't need any body challenges anymore, like diseases or everything else, but begin more and more to listen to small signs. That's how I call them. When you're high sensitive, you just sense way much more. And that's what I wanted to remember other people again. Because as child, we always had. But sometimes if you're high sensitive, it's way too much what you receive. So you begin to filter. And I give this filter away again. And that was for me the most how to handle this high sensitivity in business. Because business is tough. I was really in very tough positions. And with a lot of challenges. And I said to myself, okay, but I still don't want to limit myself with my high sensitivity. How can I handle it? And that was for me the most challenge in my life, how I can handle my high sensitivity and still be me. Because I don't want that either another person or business is changing who I am. I want to still be me. That was actually my highest goal the last years.
Okay. For those of us who have, say, learned, let's call them bad habits, or even just negative beliefs, what are some of the ways that we can unlearn those things and adopt new beliefs and new habits that do support our health and our vitality and high levels of energy and all that?
The interesting part is most of the people reject their bad habits. They think it's bad. And I say to them, no, it's a part of you. It's a part of you, what you learned, for what reason whatsoever, it doesn't matter, but it's still a part of you. Just nourish it. And if you can nourish it, then you really can look at it. How did you get this? Did you get it from your parents because they believed it's the best way? Did you make it for yourself because most of the people, or when you're a child, you depend on the grown-ups to really get nourished and everything. And most of the time, they didn't get all the nourish what they needed for a good health or healthy growing. That's why we create things or habits and what is sometimes as adult not suitable anymore. But if you, how do you say it? Do you know the blind spot? We call it your Hari window in the science. It's like every one of us has a blind spot. If we look at the blind spot that we can find, that we make it from unconscious in conscious part, then we can look at it. Then we can nourish it, and we can say in it, okay, I have this, for what reason whatsoever. But now it's not suitable for me because it's not good for my body. So let's find another solution. Why did you make up this bad habit? When you find the reason, so you learn, it's a learning lesson, then you easily can go of it. For example, I take again the chocolate. If you find out that you love the chocolate because it's remember of your grandma, which you loved very deeply as child, and she died, you always will eat chocolate because of memory of your grandmother. Maybe in bad times or every time because your grandmother gave you all the nourish and everything what you needed as child. But if you can delink this memory from the chocolate and look at the memory and heal it. Okay, grandma, it was really good that you gave me all the nourish what I needed as child. But today I have, myself. I can nourish myself in a healthier way. So I really can let go. Let go of old habits. It's sometimes a longer process. Sometimes it's when you give it in the consciousness, it's easier. Then you can find another way what's nourishing you better. I hope that's understandable.
Yeah.
I begin more and more with my PhD and with my studies to bring also science in it. And for example, Sigmund Freud had the iceberg model where it says in conscious we have 20% and about 80% or 90% it's unconscious. And this unconscious mind is more leading us, why we do what we do, why we react, how we react. But if we get this unconscious part more in the conscious part, then it's easier for how to react or how to choose a healthier lifestyle. And that's what I teach people.
Okay. So Anna, are there any specific habits or like daily routines or daily rituals that you teach people to adopt that helps them to give their body that good foundation of good health and higher energy?
Yes, getting grounded. It means I make a visualization. Maybe let's make the visualization. Just imagine you're standing in front of your favorite tree, and imagine now that you go into the tree and make the tree as big as possible, that you stay very easy and very comfortable in it. And then a big tree needs very deep roots. Use your feet and get connected with the tree of the roots and go deep into Mother Earth. And not only deep roots but also broad roots. Because the interesting part is that when you do this visualization, most of the people get very quiet inside, very calm inside. And when you are very busy and in stress, that's one of the easiest way to get calm and get more focused what you have to do. And that you can sort out again, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? What's the best way to decide now? How we can decide the best? As more as you feel your body again, as more as you feel the ground, that's why a lot of people do sports and go out. The best way is also to kind of meditation, yes, but also go into the nature and just breathe normally. It's very simple. All of my stuff and all the things what I learned from top experts and everything, I made it more and more simple. Because when it's simple, that's what people also give otherwise give all in their daily life. If it's complicated, then people don't do it. If it's very simple, I know it's also business techniques. If it's simple, the people do it right away, and that's what my biggest goal, that everything is becoming simple and that you do it right away.
I completely agree. I think the more complicated you make something, the less likely that a person will adopt it.
Yes, exactly.
In business and health and relationships and whatever, all these different areas of life, usually it's you can break down certain behaviors to a very simple action or a very simple habit that will have profound results over the long run.
For me, it's always interesting. I do all the stuff what I do only for fun for me, because it was good for me, yes, but I see more and more how people adopt it very easily into daily life. And I mean, you interviewed already Mag.a. He's a beautiful soul, beautiful. And we were talking about it, and I showed him my stuff, what I'm doing with the body intelligence and everything, and he adopted it right away. And for me it was like, woo, how cool is that? And also other people and children. When you can explain very simple to children and they adopt it, then you know you can do it with grown-ups too. Because by heart we are all children anyway.
What are some of the things that we can do to avoid a burnout, let's say? If we feel like we're getting close to our body's limit, or we're starting to get those signals that we're neglecting our health. When you got those signals back when you were faced a burnout, what were some of the immediate action steps that you took to turn things around and start to make health a priority?
I had one question for myself. If I go this way right away, I will kill myself. Does it make any sense to any business or to any work I do? No. So I stepped out of this life. I really took a time out and looked to myself what I really wanted to do in my life. Because when you love what you do, you don't get a burnout. You get a burnout because there is something or many things who stress you, or you do things not by heart, but because you have to do it. And some of the things, what I do now, I do it already for many years, is finding the right people. If I build up an international team with top experts in every single area what I don't like, I can concentrate on the stuff what I like. And that's where I see the most that I don't get any burnout. And I call it now, because I have 3 burnouts behind me and I was highly suicide, I have my experience now, and I definitely don't recommend to anyone. And I created chill-in techniques. One of the chill-in techniques is the grounding. And I'm not doing multiple projects anymore. And I'm not doing stuff anymore what doesn't feel right for me. And yes, when you're a young entrepreneur, when you build up stuff and everything, you have to do things what you don't like, but then change your attitude to it. In every single company where I had my job, there was stuff in it what I didn't like, but I changed my attitude to it. Because I'm a fan of Virginia Satir, who is the founder of the family therapy, and she said one thing: you don't change the life as it is, but the way you think about it. And that you can change. And that's what I like the most. Sometimes what I see is when I go slow, my stuff becomes faster. I can work better. I can work more concentrate when I go slow. I really give myself pauses. When my body says, no way, you really need a pause. Okay, then I will give myself a pause, whatever I need. But there's one technique what I would love to share with you is actually also Nikola Tesla's what he did. I create everything in my head till it's in my head perfect, then I bring it out. So that means all of my projects what I have, I created myself first in my head. What does it mean? I can do it while I sleep. I can create my world and everything else while I sleep. I'm very creative while I sleep, when I drive the car and everything. And then when in my head it's ready, then I will bring it down. That means I don't have the trial and error like on paper and everything. No, I have it ready when it's ready in my head. And that costs little time. And it still keeps my brain very active and very creative. And I always will find solutions for it. And when I'm very grounded, I'm more creative. And if I'm, when we call it like chill-in techniques, do always things what you really love by heart. I see so many people, or the people who are coming to me have faces, challenges, and when I teach them those techniques, the chill-in techniques, also the inner child healing and the questions, what I told you before, then it's the basic, and they do most of the 80-90% of the challenges they can handle with these questions and with these techniques.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you've shared some great advice. So, an important point is for people to not spend too much time working on things that stress them out, that they're not good at, that they don't have a passion for, that they're not enjoying. And I'm thinking of the term creative genius. I've been told that a lot of people, what they should do is try to focus their time in their areas of creative genius, where they get their best work done, where the time just flies because they enjoy what they're doing. And the more that you can spend your time in your areas of strength and in your areas of passion and in your areas of creative genius, and then all of those other tasks that are necessary, whether it's a business or any kind of organization, there's always going to be a whole bunch of different tasks that need to be done. But try to build a team where other people who enjoy those tasks can be working on them. Try to spread the work so that every individual is always doing what they most enjoy doing and what they're best at doing. Does that make sense? Would you agree with that? Or?
Oh, yes. I call it, when I say quantum business, is my idea. What if everyone is doing exactly what he loves to do, where his heart begins to sing because he really can do what he loves and enjoys? And that's how I'm looking for my team. And it's already international. And the interesting part is every single person of my team members said one thing. They always felt alone. They always had to do things they didn't like. But now they can do what they want to do, and everyone is doing exactly what they love. And I'm like, how cool is that? I always wanted to have people around me who are just loves what they do, who are funny, who nurture each other. But that's for me one of the highest goal, that we nurture each other and that we really care about ourselves and also other people. Because we only can spread good ideas and words when we sing by heart and when we really love to do what our visions is. And that's how I look for people.
So would you say that that's part of the responsibility of a leader then, who is building a team and having everybody work towards a certain vision, that they should really be proactive about making sure that they're giving people roles that they are most suited for and that they will be most passionate about? I mean, if you're forcing people into roles that they're not going to enjoy, that kind of affects everyone in a negative way, I would think.
Not only that, but the business doesn't run good. And for me, it's like a leader is also creating other leaders. I've really met a lot of successful business owners and top experts. And what I found the most is when you align with your stuff, when you know exactly your vision, when you do exactly what you love to do, you give them, you give the space also to other people doing the same. If you are a leader or a manager doing only because of the money, it's a good money and a good position, everything, you don't give the space to other people that they do the same. And for me, it's like when I always created my quantum business, and I will also write a book about it. My idea is that you exactly have those person on the place, and it's not always about if they has a university degree or all the knowledge what he should have on this place, but if he has the passion for doing what he should do on this place, on the profile of this place, then you can teach them everything. because my deepest belief is that learning by passion, or that you can do something what you love to do, you can teach them everything.
You can't always teach passion, but you can definitely teach a skill.
Yes, exactly. And I also create new ways of learning. And in my deepest belief is that everything what I can do, other people can to do, and way much more, because they have their own gifts. And that's what I want to find out. Because I truly believe when we 100% are conscious about who we are, what we can do, and what we are capable of, the world would be a much better place. And also in business. My deepest belief is that we can do business different than we see today at the moment. Or what I also saw in my former companies, and also in other big companies. And burnout is, for me, not a choice anymore. Definitely not.
So Anna, are there any specific resources that you've come across throughout your career that have really helped you to learn some of these concepts, that have helped you to live a more healthy, a more productive, a more fulfilling life? Is there perhaps a book that you'd like to recommend, or anything along those lines?
There are so many. And I'm not talking about mine, because I really write now my stuff down. I don't know. You know what it was? There were people, unknown people, but they were so in their heart and so grounded, and I learned the most from them. To go back to the basics and really look for yourself what's important in life. And most of the time when I meet people who had to change their life because of a disease, of cancer or everything like this, most of the time they change their whole life habits. What I see the most is I got very humble and very grounded, and decide myself more and more what is good for me. Because I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, I got really, really cool offer from a top trainer worldwide to work with him together. And I thought to myself, no, it wasn't time for me yet, because my health was not good yet, and it was not. My heart didn't sing when it came with his offer, even when it was so incredible. But I said to myself one thing, and I had many different chances to be on top level already, and millionaire and whatever and all the things. But I found myself, no, it doesn't feel good, and I couldn't look in the mirror again if I would take this chance now, because I'm not ready yet. And sometimes making decisions which to refuse an offer, which it's in the normal way, a huge career and jump, or however you want to call it. Sometimes health and your own how should I say, your own way was for me more important than everything else.
You've always tried to do what you feel is right.
Yes.
And not to step out of integrity.
No, otherwise I would be dead already.
Okay. So I'd like to ask one of my favorite questions now, which is for you to share your definition of success. And I break it up into 2 parts, because I find that somebody's definition will change over time. So if you could share with us how you initially defined success when you were just getting started in the workforce and just getting started establishing your career, but then walk us through how that definition has changed and what it would be today.
In former time, success was for me to be on the top of the top management and top worldwide and conquer the world and everything else. And all this stuff, and I really did a lot of things, and also abroad and everything. And success for me is now, after my life path, is to stay by my truth, to do stuff what my heart brings to sing, to say at the end of the day, I did it my way. I'm a totally fan of the song, and I definitely want to have it when I'm dying, is the song of I Did It My Way. That was always very important for me. It's maybe a little different to the normal way, and it's totally okay. At least I can say I did it my way. I stayed by my heart. And I found now when I see my team members and see, you know what, my biggest reward after every single coaching is when I see the glowing in the eyes of the other people because they found their way, their heart begins to sing. And I said to them, ooh, you got the groove, didn't you? And that's for me the biggest success, that other people also find those glowing. I call it mojo flow. Do you feel the mojo flow? You don't need any drugs anymore. You are in the mojo flow. And you find more and more easy. The right people are coming to you. The right occasions coming to you. And as more as you have fun what you're doing by heart, that you really have fun, the time flies, as you said before, and also the mojo is flowing. And that's what I love the most. And that's for me is the biggest success. Because everything else is coming afterwards anyway.
Great definition. So Anna, are there any last words of advice that you would like to pass on to the listener who is an aspiring entrepreneur? So perhaps they're still in school or they're working for somebody else, but they dream of one day owning their own business. Is there any specific lesson or piece of advice you'd like to give to them as they get started to help encourage them and also push them in the right direction?
Yes. People move, rock on, bring your vision into action. I have so many people who don't bring their vision into action. Please do it. Go into action, bring it down. Go persistent. It's not about discipline, but persistent, having fun what you're doing, and really go by heart. And go out for it because the world needs you. The world needs new creative people, that they need new different way of thinking, that they need inspiring people, that they really go out for it. That's my biggest, that's why I actually contacted you to say these words, people rock on, go out of the world and really inspire other people doing the same. Because we are only living once on this planet. This planet needs so urgently inspiring people, cool people, and bringing out new solutions, new ideas. That's what the world needs.
That's awesome, Anna. Thank you so much for sharing your advice and for taking the time to tell us more about your story and some of the important lessons that you've learned along the way. So thank you so much, and I wish you all the best.
All the same to you. Thank you, Tyler.
Hey, this is Tyler Basu again, and thank you so much for listening to that interview with Anna Bruckner. She has an incredible story, and she shared a lot of really valuable advice to help you live a more balanced and fulfilling lifestyle. If you'd like to learn more about what she's doing, the show notes and the links to her website can be found on her interview page at chattingwithchampions.com/087 as an interview number 87. And if you have any questions or comments or feedback, I invite you to get in touch with either myself or Anna. And of course, you can always leave some comments right there on the interview page. Thanks again for listening to today's interview, and I hope to see you on the next episode.